It's been called industrial bastardry by some this morning, disrespect by the PM. What's your take? It's quite a day in store for Sydney today when it comes to public transport.
Yeah, good morning, Peter. Look, I can't pretend to know all the details of this dispute. It's obviously come as a shock to Sydneysiders, though, the fact that the trains aren't running today. And I think that is really unfortunate that people have turned up at train stations, including in my own electorate, Edgecliff, Bondi Junction Station, expecting to be able to take the train to work and haven't been able to. And of course, today is the first day we've got our international borders properly opening, and we're expecting a lot of international tourists to be arriving, and they're not going to be able to do the normal thing and take the train into the city. So I think it's unfortunate that it got to this late hour of the day before the public could be notified of this.
Okay, let's look overseas now, and particularly cyber warfare. Australia is going to be helping out Ukraine to take on Russian hackers, I suppose. How much of an impact can we have, Dave?
Look, I think this is important. It's an important capability that we'll be able to assist Ukraine with, but it's also as important, if not more, as a symbolic statement of solidarity with Ukraine against Russian aggression. Obviously, Ukraine is not in our military or strategic theatre. We wouldn't be expected to assist in that way. That primary role falls to NATO countries and particularly the major European powers in the United States. But I think this is an important show of solidarity with the people of Ukraine and with the Ukrainian government.
I mean, because is there really a need for us to get involved in that way, or is it just about being a good global citizen?
I think for us, it's about being a good global citizen and upholding, the rules-based global order. The people that will really alter the military balance here, though, if you like, it's the United States and NATO countries putting in things like sophisticated air missile defence systems and anti-aircraft defence systems into Ukraine to try and make it as indigestible as possible, if you like, for a Russian invasion. That's the stuff that'll change the calculus of Putin, I think, at this stage.
Any way of this stepping back?
Look, I don't rule that out. I mean, it's certainly everything that Russia is doing is consistent with the preparations for war, amassing troops, conducting nuclear exercises in Belarus now, very similar to what they conducted before they invaded and annexed Crimea. So they're certainly prepared for military aggression, but I wouldn't rule out that there are some diplomatic off-ramps yet, and we need to explore those fully.
Yeah, I still think that there will be a way out. Maybe I'm just being hopeful on that. But anyway, on to China, Dave, and this laser that came about over the weekend. Do you see that as an act of intimidation or propagation, and does this need a reaction from us?
Well, I think it was a reckless act, an unsafe act. It's not the act that you'd expect from a professional military, and it's not the act you'd expect from a power that seeks to be a responsible power in world affairs. It's dangerous. This is targeting an Australian maritime surveillance aircraft operating along our northern approaches, doing exactly what maritime surveillance aircraft do, which is looking out for things like illegal fishing and people smuggling and transnational crime. To be targeted by a laser in a way that threatens the safety of the crew and threatens the safety of the plane's communications and navigation equipment is deeply reckless. So we are right to call it out, we are right to condemn it, and we are right to seek a response from Chinese authorities as to why this was done.
We're probably not going to get one though, are we? I mean, what else can we do? Anything?
Well, I think this is what we should do, ask for an explanation. Whether they choose to give it or not will be revealing in and of itself. I mean, do they think this stuff is serious or not? Do they seek to behave as a responsible power or not? I think this is what this will show.
Can this be read into by the increased rhetoric around China from both the government and also the Labor Party in recent weeks about the election? Could this be read as a response from China?
I think that's probably unlikely. This fits with a pre-existing pattern of behaviour by the People's Liberation Army of China to engage in quite provocative and aggressive acts. We haven't seen it in the Arafura Sea, to my knowledge, before, but certainly in the Sea of Japan or the East China Sea, the South China Sea, around some of the disputed features in the South China Sea like Scarborough Shoal. This is pretty much par for the course for the PLA these days. We've seen it with these huge incursions into Taiwanese airspace conducted by the PLA.
Hey, just a final one here on Mike Cannon-Brookes, Dave. He wants to accelerate the phase out of coal, clearly, by buying AGL with the first offer that's on the table at the moment. What are your thoughts on that potential acquisition?
Well, look, I guess I believe in the operation of the market, and I don't, we do have private providers of energy in Australia. So, prima facie, if this is a private transaction, that's in its favour. But I would also say that this is a utility. It's a highly regulated utility because people and businesses and households rely upon affordable and reliable electricity to keep their businesses and their households running. So I'd want to make sure that the regulators here are looking very closely at this deal to make sure that whatever commercial transaction is done, it's not going to interrupt the affordability or the reliability of the power network in the Australian electricity market.
Okay, we'll wait to see how that unfolds. Dave Sharma, we're out of time. Appreciate your time as always, though. We'll talk to you soon.